Okay, so some context or background on me. Like I'm a history geek and a political geek and an economics geek. Like I'm a total geek when it comes to society and how society functions and what society is all about. And then in my 20s, the world disillusioned me because it was so fucked up. And so I literally ran away and went and partied my ass off and took a whole bunch of drugs and ended up in a psych ward. Not for very long, for like a week or so. And then spent the next sort of 5 to 10 years recovering and putting myself back together and finding my own sense of personal power. So here I am now, age 40, and I feel like I've come right back around to where I was as a teenager, deeply passionate about the world that we live in and the state of the world and what's going on. Because I recognize that we create the world completely. Like economics, I remember having an argument with my sixth form economics teacher because I'm like, dude, this is all made up. This whole supply, demand, blah, 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 we're making this up. And I said, and it does not serve us. It does not serve us. So can't we make up an economics that serves us? I don't think I won the argument necessarily, but this is what my mind was doing. Like I was questioning everything because I recognized that we as a species are inherently creative. We create. What we create, like sort of the fruits of what we create, the outcome depends on where we're creating from. And so often what we're seeing in the world right now is we're creating from a place of fear. We're creating from a place of competition. We're creating from a place of scarcity. This was the thing about economics. It was based on scarcity. And that's what I said to my teacher. I'm like, this is not true. What would happen if we had an economics that was based on abundance? Because we live in an abundant world. And once our needs are met, the only reason that there was a perception of scarcity in economics was because there is greed, because people were greedy for more and more and more. Again, I mean, that's a rabbit hole that I could go down. You feel how passionate I get. And then I picked up this book, A People's History of the United States. And like I did at university, I did the 20th century American history. And America has always fascinated me. And like right now, the elections are fascinating me, and this is part of what's going on. When I read this book, what I realized is that the history of America, what I was taught at university, was that it is the land of the brave and the free, and it's all about democracy, and it's all about this, and it's all about that. When I read this book, I started to realize that, you know what, actually, America is a land that was it's heart-wrenching when you read in this book. You know, it is a land that was founded on rape and pillage and degradation and genocide, and basically they stole the whole fucking country from the people that already lived there, you know, and it is still going on. If you see what is happening right now in the Dakotas. And when I read this, I realized that in so many ways, this greed that has been happening in the world for so long, this dominating force, this colonization force of, you know, basically commandeering and taking control of resources, has been going on for a long, long time. And then the people will sort of revolt and they will kick back and they will demand a bit of leeway, and then we are given a certain amount of democracy and we are given a certain amount of freedom and we are given a certain amount of rights, and it's just enough to quell the rebellions so that the people that are still living from that greed paradigm can keep on doing what they've always been doing. And, you know, in so many ways, nothing has changed. So it's like you've got people going about in this world who really genuinely care about each other and are there to support and help and love and cooperate and do all of this. And then you have other people who are caught in a fear paradigm, who are living from a different place of domination and control and greed. So I've been absorbing all of this and I've been reading it all, and you can see like it really gets to me in a big way because I care so deeply, because I know and I feel that we can experience the world in a different way, that it does not have to be the way that it is right now. And what I see is so many people that are feeling powerless and frustrated, and like, you know, the elections in the States are a prime example of this. Like, gone are the days, if they even existed, whereby electing one person can change the whole tone of society necessarily. Like the systems that are in place are so robust and so strong, like the banking system and the industrial military complex, like all of these things are almost becoming like these entities. I don't mean this in a weird way or anything, I just mean it's the nature of systems and the way that systems function, and systems will always seek to expand themselves and replicate themselves. So the leadership that is required now is a different kind of leadership. We cannot expect to be saved by anyone. There is no great savior that is going to come down. There is no great president that we can elect. There is not a government that we can elect that is going to change things, that is going to make things any different. It is completely 100% up to us, to all of us, to every single one of us. And so this is what's been really coming through for me a lot lately. And I have been dedicating my days and my evenings to contemplation and meditation and visioning, and really getting clear on what it is I'm bringing into this world and how I can anchor myself ever more strongly in power and in love and in joy, and to stay open, to not contract, to not defend, to recognize that I'm not the small self, and it is time to not identify with that small self at all, but to be anchored to the deeper level of beingness that is us all. So I'm doing the personal work, and I'm doing that, and now I'm realizing that what has been missing from the Yoga Lunchbox is a central vision that people can align themselves with and fully get behind. And so over the next few weeks, over the next few months, what I'm going to be calling forth and bringing forth is a very clear vision, and I call it a probable future. So what I'm doing is I sit in meditation and contemplation, and I use my body like a time travel machine. Like I feel into using thought experiments. I feel into possibility. I feel into probability. I feel into what would it be like to live in a world like this? How would the education systems function? How would healthcare function? How would business function? How would government function? And then how can I articulate this vision in such a way that other people can see it and feel it and believe in it? Because there are so many people right around the world who are already doing this work, who are already visioning up and holding strong and anchoring in these energies for their small corner. And so I recognize that the Yoga Lunchbox, that is my small corner. And so I want to bring what it has behind this vision and articulate it, and to build a community of people that are prepared to do what it takes to be the change, because we all know that's why we're here. We are the change. What does that mean? What does that look like? How is that practical and grounded? And I know that because I'm very, very good on systems and processes. I can outline a process that will get you from here to there, and so that you can understand what it means to live the change within yourself. How do you relate to yourself? To live the change within your interpersonal relationships, whether it's one-on-one, with your lover, or with your children, or with your family, or with your friends, or with your community. How does relationship function in the new paradigm? How does it work? And I get this. I understand this. I'm living this, and I'm ready. It kind of feels like I'm ready to just put my stick in the ground and to say, it is time. It is time. And this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And it's a process. It's just going to keep unfolding. And I want to hear from you, really, what you're doing and how you see and what you want, what you need. And because it's not about just me. It's like I'm fortunate enough, or I'm privileged enough, or I have the space enough to be able to lift up above the fog of everyday life, and lift up and to see what is possible, and to see where we're going, and to say that the world is going to change enormously in the next 10 to 20 years, and that we can shape that change, that we are being called to shape that change. So my name is Kara-Leah, and I publish the Yoga Lunchbox. I am a leader of the new paradigm, just as you too can choose to be a leader of the new paradigm, just as all of us are leaders of the new paradigm if we so choose. I want nothing more for you than for you to feel the level of clarity and certainty and power that I feel around this, the level of knowingness, of certainty that this is possible.